Hello. So I have been getting a lot of questions lately about the difference between, or just a lot of misunderstandings about the difference between positive and negative reinforcement and what that means. A lot of people hear negative and they think bad. That's not what it is. It's basically just, it's a math equation. Negative equals, the removal of something, and positive equals adding something. It doesn't mean good or bad. It's just a plus sign or a minus sign. That's it. Where it comes from is B.F. Skinner created something called operant conditioning quadrants. So these are the 4 quadrants of operant conditioning. And so I made a little video demonstrating what they are. I'll explain it here. And you can Google that. Google B.F. Skinner, Google operant conditioning, or the 4 quadrants of operant conditioning. And there's so much information out there now. There's no reason for us to not kind of know. So negative reinforcement simply means the removal of a stimulus. So, you pull on the halter, the horse comes forward, and you release the pressure. That's removing something, removing a stimulus, removing the pressure. That's the negative part. You take it away. It's the primary way that we train horses is the removal of a stimulus, and they learn really, really well that way. They go, oh, okay, I did that, it made whatever go away. So that's negative reinforcement. Positive reinforcement is the addition of a stimulus or addition of something. So basically like a reward. It could be anything from a treat to a scratch to like a massage. It's adding something pleasurable to whatever it is you're training. So we use a lot of treats and positive reinforcement. Clicker training is a form of positive reinforcement. We use a clicker to mark the behavior. So going and saying your horse looks cute and giving him a treat because he's standing there and he looks cute is not positive reinforcement. That is, you're giving your horse a treat because he looks cute. What you're doing is you're reinforcing a behavior. That's where training comes into play. Say the same thing. You pull on the halter, the horse comes forward. You mark the behavior. You have to mark it with something, whether it be a clicker, a bridge word like good. I think some people use like their mouth to make like a clucking noise. But you have to mark the behavior because that's the only way that it works. Is the horse knows that mark means they got the answer right. And you have to build that up. So if you're interested in doing clicker training or any kind of positive reinforcement training, Google that. It's all over YouTube. You can learn how to do it properly. Just because your horse did a behavior and you gave him a treat, that is not positive reinforcement. You have to mark the behavior. So they walk forward, or you pull on the halter, they walk forward, you mark it. So either good, click, they're like they'll make a clucking noise with their mouth. That marks the behavior. Then the treat follows. Okay, so that's positive reinforcement. The other parts of the quadrant are negative punishment. So negative punishment means that you're taking something away to punish the behavior. So you're trying to discourage an unwanted behavior. So let's say, you're walking up and down the barn feeding, and the horse is pawing, like beating against the door, pawing, and you don't feed that horse. You put the grain bucket in front of the door, and you don't feed that horse until the behavior stops. And then so that's negative punishment. You're withholding something in order to encourage a behavior not to happen. Whereas positive reinforcement, you're giving something to encourage a behavior to happen, to reinforce the behavior. Negative reinforcement, you're removing a stimulus in order to encourage a behavior to happen. Well, punishment, you're discouraging a behavior to happen. So that's a way you can use negative punishment. That you go and you, like, say your horse, like I said, pawing at feed time, and you want to discourage that behavior, so you don't feed the horse until they stand quiet. Then you feed them. So withholding that part of it is negative punishment. Positive punishment would be adding something to discourage a behavior. So say your horse takes a nip at you and bites you, and you, like, instinctively, most of us do this whether we want to or not, you whack them in the nose because they just nipped at you. Well, the whacking them in the nose part is positive punishment. You're hitting them in the nose to discourage the biting behavior. It doesn't usually work, but that doesn't usually work. And positive punishment doesn't usually work well in horse training, I have found, but that's just, I'm not trying to reinforce one or the other type of training. I'm just saying that that's what it's called. It's a positive punishment. You're adding some sort of stimulus in order to discourage a behavior. So those are the 4 quadrants: negative reinforcement, positive punishment, and negative punishment. Those are the 4 quadrants of operant conditioning. If you're in horse training and you're training horses, you should know this. So I encourage you, Google it. Lots of good information. But it follows this. I took some videos to kind of demonstrate with the horse all of these 4 quadrants and what they look like. So I hope you enjoy. Okay, so this one is negative reinforcement. I'm going to go ahead and pull on the halter. She backs up. I release the pressure. Negative reinforcement. Here I have her back up. I say good, and then I give her a treat, and that's positive reinforcement because I marked that behavior that it was good. She was supposed to back up. And this one, I take food away from her because Blue is being bad, but Blue's never bad, so I have to pet her anyways. So that would be negative punishment, removing something to discourage a behavior. And then here I'm acting like she bit me and I whacked her on the nose. That's positive punishment. And of course, I didn't really hit her. So thanks for watching. Bye.